Hi everyone. So my name is Faraz. So I was thinking, based on my experience in SAP training, so helping people find SAP jobs and training them technically, and now I have a team where my I'm selected trainers also train and help people find a job in SAP. So most of the people were asking, what are the best ways? How can we find a job? I have done a course, but I am still not able to find a job in SAP. And what are the things to do? And so I thought just to create a video and explain what are the best practices that you can do in order to find a job. Okay, so I have five principles, five key things that I tell all my students and everyone who is looking to find a job to follow. And if you do the same, it's easier for you to find, and your chances will increase. You will by far um, be be very far ahead compared to people who may be using some traditional approaches in finding jobs, right? Just by learning the module they think that they can find. But there are a few things. So, and also one disclaimer, that I have not made any script for this video. It's just what I feel from heart. I'm explaining it out. So there will be some glitches during this podcast, so please bear with me, but I'll try and explain. So number one that I think is excellence. So what I mean by excellence is, like, suppose you're learning a module in SD. Suppose you're learning SD module. Now you learn SD basic concept, which every training student is being taught, is basic principles, sales order creation, pricing, details of pricing, and all that. So you do a 1 month course and then you finish, and then you think, oh, you are now SD expert. But that's not the case. When you learn a course for about a month, you only learn the basics. And remember, you're competing with people who are 10, 12 years of experience, consultants. So by excellence, I mean is that whatever topic you pick in learning, you have to get into a deep dive for each specific area within the module, submodules, within submodules, there are specific areas. You have to go very deep into it and ask the question, why is it like that? For example, let's take an example of pricing in SD. I always refer to SD SAP because that's how I start my career. And now I'm doing multiple modules. So, but SD is always my favorite module. So in SD, suppose let's say you're doing pricing. Okay. So in pricing, you understand the basic concept, condition technique, condition table, access sequence, condition types. You list all the condition types in pricing procedure and you determine and all that. But that's very basic concept. So if you're willing to understand more details about pricing, bring a business scenario into pricing and see how those scenarios can be met into addressing those solutions that are provided by SAP. So, like, so many variations you have, you can think about all the variations that you come across in your experience wherever you are working, for how the pricing would be incorporated into that. Multiple discounts, one customer getting one discount, the person getting another discount. How are we going to do it in the SAP system? Groupings, freight charges. Freight is not billable to the customer, but it should be statistical in the sales order. How are we going to charge the freight forwarding carrier? So many combinations. So before learn after you've learned the basic concepts, bring a scenario into it, and then question everything that SAP has provided as a solution. So for example, if you go into the details of condition time, you will see so many things. Ask yourself, why is it like that? So so excellence is very important, because when you are interviewing, when you're going for an interview, and let's say you say pricing expert, and when you ask you technical questions which you have not experienced in your project, it would become difficult. It would become awkward for you to explain, saying that you're a pricing expert, you don't know the basics. So one of the things is that you go into the technical details again and again and again and see. The second option is that bring hundreds of scenarios into it and then learn yourself. So that stays in your memory for longer term, because you've linked a scenario and you explain, that stays with you. Just technical learning will not stay in your memory for longer, because you can't relate to it. Okay, so excellence for each is very important. Okay, because just by learning 1 month you can't just go and start applying for jobs. Okay, that's one. Second is mentorship. Mentorship is very important because people who are experienced in SAP, like 20 years of experience, they will guide you what are the best things that you can do, what are the real life examples that you can practice, where is the demand, what are the new things in a specific module. So if you're able to find a mentor or a trainer or somebody who can coach you when you are switching your career, it's very important, because if you don't get a right mentor, you learn a module and then you will be discouraged in the end. If you're not able to find a work, then you will give up. Okay, so right mentor is very important, who has some experience, and you can check their profile. Don't go just by someone saying that he's an experienced consultant. Look at the profile, check. These days digitally so many information is available, so you can always cross check your profile, the mentor's profile. Obviously there's a cost linked to it, but it's worth it if you find a good mentor. Okay, and so excellence, mentorship. Third is demand and supply. So for example, if you stick to standard SD module learning or standard module, or any module which has been there for years, you will find a lot of competition in there. Okay, so one of the best things that you can do is find this specific areas within those modules and become an expert on that. So then you will, first of all, in the background, you are learning the general module, which is a basic necessity to learn the more advanced features within that module. So you are learning that, and then you become creating your own niche. So if you're able to create your own expert niche, like for example, in SD module, you will not find experts in variant configuration with variant pricing, object dependencies, and all that. So it's tough, but if you learn it, then you become an expert in that, and then you can say this is so. Whenever there is and remember, when recruiters are looking for profile, if there's any a specific demand, anything, and then you say, yeah, you have done 3 or 4 projects in variant configuration, then they will prefer you. And not just by learning. Remember the first point I said, excellence. So in variant configuration, you become an excellent. You create your own excellence. So how do you know the demand and supply? There are various parameters that you can do. You can see what are the daily on jobserve.co.uk or different job sites. See what kind of jobs are being posted within those areas, and then you can create your own AI. And there are so many tools that can help you understand by triggering an automation that will tell you what kind of jobs are being posted daily in this field where you're interested in, and then you can see how many applicants are applying for that. So if you see a standard SD job, there are over 100 applicants filled within one or 2 days. But if you think about advanced ATP or similar, then you will find less consultant. And even people who are applying for it, they may not be skilled into it, but they're still applying for it and taking their chances. So becoming an expert within your area is very important. Again, the mentor will help you what are your specific areas. For example, if it is technical, then ABAP on S4 HANA, CPI, BTP, all those things are new and in demand, so you can learn all of that. And it's not just the learning those, it's also important and essential to know, which I shouldn't forget, is that earlier they always need to have an experience of 7 years and all that. But with the technology advancements, if you learn something which is very new, then you wouldn't be needed to prove a lots of experience in that. So that's also essential. And find your demand and supply gap in an area where you are interested in. Okay, ask the questions with your mentor, what is the area I can do. Okay, so those are the things: excellence, mentorship, demand and supply, and then track your progress. Okay, so how do you track your progress? So like for example, when we train at Enfogen Training, we give a personalized dashboard to students so that they can track their progress with the status showing that how much they've learned, how much they have to further learn, what is it that is taking them towards the job, and all that. So if you are learning on your own, you can create your own tracker, see how is it going, and every day think about how you can improve marginally. Okay, so When I say marginally, you mean that every day you don't have you basically you don't have to finish the module in one day, and then you will see, oh, it's such a big module. How can I finish in a month or so? But if you break it down to smaller scenarios, smaller steps, smaller sub modules, and then try and finish one by one, and making sure you're not forgetting what you've learned before, that will help you. So if you're tracking your progress through a dashboard or something personalized, then you can see where you are. You can create your own formula and stuff and see how much you have to learn, what you have to do, and all that. Make a diary, whatever. Okay. So after learning all of that, and I mean, there are basic essential things which I'm not talking about in those five things, like basic essential, like you should be good in communication. Your communication skills is not like just about speaking fluently in English. It's also about what matters is the words that you pick. Like, for example, people from Europe, they don't have the same English skills as people from England, but their words are very clear. They articulate it properly. So it's not just the accent; it's the communication that you are able to put across the message that you have in mind. That is what I'm talking about in communication. So those things go as in the background. So uh, basic essentials. So if you can't speak properly, then everything fails. So, and then after the last one, which I was thinking, is how you market yourself. So now we are living in a digital world. Okay, so digital world, there's so many good things that have come with the digital presence, digital world. Number one is that you are accessible globally. So there are so many remote opportunities, even short-term projects, whatever experience you want to gain, you can apply from anywhere in the world. You just need a fast internet connection. So marketing is like looking at places where people are posting jobs and everything, contributing and helping people in communities like SAP SCN community. SAP has so many communities where you can help people solve problems after you've learning. So after you've like mastered a topic, then you can start helping people by solving, look at the problems that they're facing, and always try and get into the complexity of the problem, because people who are just learning on the surface and not getting into the deep dive learning, they you are then an average. So you have to become much above the average consultant level. Okay. So so that's how contribution and helping problems of others will also help. And when you're posting all of this, then marketing eventually automatically happens, because people will then come and see your profile, who is it that is posting and solving and all that. And on LinkedIn is a very powerful tool. Now I will create a separate video on how to use LinkedIn, but generally you can start posting articles about what you've learned, and make yourself presence, add people in your network who are in the SAP field, and just create an ecosystem of your of SAP professionals within your network, and then start contributing. Don't immediately start for or start asking for work just after completing the course. Make sure that you understand the subject, your knowledge is to a level of an expert, and then you start applying for work. Okay, so these are the basic essentials. It sounds like these are very easy things to do, but when you start working on it, when you see the deep dive details into it, then you will realize, yeah. And then these five things, if you follow, um, and not give up easily when learning something complex, it will definitely help you, not immediately, but at some point, find a work in SAP. I hope this helps. If you like my video, just make sure that, I mean, make sure is a wrong word, but just see if you can help me increase my following, like and subscribe, so that I can get you more videos like these. It's just an encouragement that people do get when there's some confidence from, like, I will get some confidence from people who will like ensuring that I've made the right thing for the audience. Okay, thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of the day. Bye.